Hey everybody, I have here the LEGO Creator 3-in-1 Monster Burger Truck, a set that has some unique charm. I'd say more charm than meets the eye. And I'm going to take you through it, show you the details, and also show you something a little special, a little different based on this. First of all, take note of the size relative to minifigures. I mean, the tires are significantly taller than figures by themselves. And then the van itself is kind of looking like just a regular, light commercial van, but it's 8 studs wide and it is lifted way off the ground. And one thing I personally was not expecting is this suspension action. It's kind of soft and springy at the same time. It mostly is front to back, and it gives this thing a whole lot of life. Every time you just try to touch it a little bit, you try to grab it, it's like it's trying to get away from you, the way that it's designed. So that makes it pretty fun. And if you were to drive this, you could see the suspension action actually occurring as you get a little bit of flex out of it. And the way they got that suspension action in there is interesting, with the use of these flexible I guess you call them hoses, but except they're not hollow inside. These pieces have been around for quite some time, used from the Technic lines and the large action figure lines, and just gives you some flex and some ability to move these otherwise floating axles around. Another thing I wasn't expecting is how nicely the staircase is integrated here. The design of it looks very cool, and it folds up and goes into the base of the truck all the way in there, and then gets locked into place very easily. And it's just very easy to access, and it works so well. It's so simple. It's kind of elegant. The idea, of course, is that this is a food truck, and just regular customers would step right on up and then stand at this little ledge here. It is a bit precarious, but I mean, it's just Lego. They've got anti-studs for feet, so they should be able to attach there just fine. There's a menu off to the side. It's got some of the monster branding on it, and you can see that the values, the prices are actually somewhat reasonable in many currencies. There's more branding on the front with just a single additional sticker that's placed on a panel above the double wide windscreen section. So just one more sticker there. And of course, there's the most obvious thing, well, one of the most obvious things by far, is the brick and plate built burger up there. So that's, as expected, looking pretty good. And unlike the one on the Burger Bar Fire Rescue set, this one is built all the way around. So it doesn't have just a single camera-friendly angle. It has many camera-friendly angles. Doesn't look quite as good from the underside, but it is a full 3D build. And because that is on a hinged piece, as you can see there, you could stand it straight up if you want, as just a different option. Even lean back just a little bit. I think that kind of stands out pretty well. There are openable doors on the sides, which don't do much. You really are not going to be able to get there anyway as a minifigure unless you have quite the vertical leap. And then on the back for resupply, they've got these 2 larger doors. And honestly, opening those up doesn't get you much either. I think they mostly just look good when they're closed. They add a little bit of extra texture and detail. And then the final sticker out of a total of 3 in this set is right there. To show off most of the interesting and smaller detail on this, I'm going to close up the side and then pull the entire roof off, because this is a single large assembly, and you get pretty good access into there, for even adult-sized fingers to place figures inside. And because of the 8 stud width, there is plenty of width. You could probably have even, I don't know, it looks like 3 figures in there, maybe even 4, working the different stations. You've got the built-in pumps back there for different condiments. Got a little piece of safety equipment with the fire extinguisher in 2 colors, actually looking more realistic than usual. There's the grill, which has a burger on it right now. You see there are 2 seats up front, one for the driver, one for the passenger. The steering wheel is lined up nicely. You've got some additional toppings that you can choose from. A person up at the window would be able to see those. And then there's the checkout register, a couple of additional condiment pumps over there, and this can just be used as a spatula, I suppose. All told, this is a pretty proper build. It is fun in a number of ways. I mean, like I said, it's fun just to touch it. It's fun just to see it moving around like that, to see just how it reacts. It looks kind of cool. It also has some realism to it. It's an interesting idea with the monster truck. I mean, I could see somebody doing something almost like this, maybe not quite so tall, and maybe with a safer way for people to get up there. But the way this is integrated in and everything, the way it's actually built with a minimum number of really specialized pieces, combination of Technic parts and just regular system parts that are working together definitely in harmony. Got the gold colored pieces over here for the exhausts. Just a lot about this is just nice. It is fun, is enjoyable to behold. And then there are these side builds. So this is just a round table with tires at the base of it and a nice colorful parasol umbrella over the top to give you a little bit of shade. These are folding chairs, right? Just a basic thing that any minifigure can sit in. And then the top, or the back rather, can fold down for simpler and easier, smaller storage and also transportation. This is a sample of what a burger can look like when it's fully built up. And this is part of the official build for the set. And it has a spot on the base where a regular minifigure can hold that, because a minifigure hand will fit right into that hole. So this thing is definitely oversized for a minifig, but it is nice to get something that's actually built up, rather than like a specialized new burger mold piece or something. And finally, there's this dog, which is just a different build of a sitting down dog. Makes use of the half-rounded tile pieces in black. I don't know exactly what type of dog it's supposed to be. Kind of looks like it could be a hound if you're seeing these as the ears, some sort. But yeah, I think it looks pretty cool, and it's well enough detailed for something that's built up again with no really specialized parts, just regular things from the current part inventory. As a nice bonus, everything also fits inside the truck neatly with a little bit of room to spare. And here are the minifigs. The eccentric dude on the left is intended to be the driver of the truck and also the chef. And on the right is just a patron, just a regular customer who has happened by the place, though of course you are encouraged to use your imagination. They could be related. The guy on the right could be an employee, could be the owner of the company. We don't know. You can decide for yourself. I'll also show you what eccentric dude's face actually looks like under there, which is quite different. Like so. Never judge a Lego minifigure who has an external mustache piece by his initial appearance. And here are the spare parts for this set. There are a bunch of them, but they're all really, really small as usual. Now, this is a 3-in-1 set, but without fail, every time I review a Lego set that's a 3-in-1 or a 2-in-1, and the alternate builds are honestly quite very weak relative to the main build, there are like 4 people, literally like 4 people, for whom it is critically important that they see just one more view of each of these weird extra alternate builds. But everybody else skips all of it, because you can just look and see, okay, that's like a super stock, tractor puller. And okay, we see what it looks like. And then this thing, I don't know what that thing is, just some sort of vehicle made of a bunch of parts. Cool. Yeah, it's just not that interesting. So in this case, rather than spending the literally 3 hours it would take to take this thing apart and make both of these alternate builds that you've now seen pretty fully already, I've done something I think a lot more of you will like. Ta-da! It's a demonstrified Monster Burger food truck. I just figured there would be a lot of people interested in what this would look like as just a regular food truck that you could put around a Lego city, or, have interacting with other regular Lego minifig scaled things. So the set does come with the 2 tires that are used, tires and wheels that are used on the base of this little, table thing, but it doesn't have 2 more beyond that. So I had to pull from my existing part stock, and I brought in just a few other pieces to adapt those to fit on, to fit under there. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. See the parts that I used for attachment here. And then at the back, I just used Technic pieces. Let me see if this will actually pull out easily. I think it will. There we go. So that is the assembly that I used for the rears. Just filling up some space. You know, it's super, super simple. And just makes it work. And it's sturdy enough. I think I should have opened up the top to get access there. So I can pull down or push down from the front. There's just a little bit of adaptation that's needed, but for the most part, you know, everything is there. The entire upper portion of this, the entire body is just stock. You know, I just took off the chassis or left off the chassis for this build and adapted some wheels. So you end up with something that actually looks pretty cool. Now it is 8 studs wide compared to the usual 6 studs wide that we see for most commercial trucks in Lego, you know, Lego's official stuff, but it's not too huge. And honestly, it kind of makes sense. You know, these are supposed to be very wide vehicles, and I just think that works. Let me bring in a minifigure again for the sake of scale. I just think it works. I think it looks really good with those wheels in particular. There may be some other options. These are just really convenient because they fit within the width of one stud, so you don't need to do any really fancy adaptation. They'll just fit right within those fenders, those arches that are used in every dimension. And I think it works out pretty nicely. And you compare something like this to something like this, and you know, it's a big difference. So the price for this set is $50 US for essentially 500 pieces, right there at the ultimate price to part ratio, beyond which we just can't ask for anything better. Normally speaking, that is if a set isn't just filled up with 1x1 pieces, especially like plates and tiles and such. And this does have a nice selection of different sizes of pieces, including some fairly large pieces. So I feel like for the stuff that you actually get here, you are paying a fair price. I think that the volume of the completed major monster version of this is not, it doesn't quite look like $50 worth, but then once you open it up and you see all the interior details and you consider the suspension action and how the stairs come out and everything, I feel like all that adds quite a bit of value to this. And yeah, just overall, I think that you get a respectable value for this. Although, as usual, you know, I wouldn't mind if it was a little bit cheaper. Like if you can find this for $45, it'll be great. If you can find it for $40, then I would be super happy. I could not ask for better than $40. So as usual, yeah, a little bit of a discount would make me feel better, but I can understand its default suggested retail price. And I think that being able to so simply and easily convert to this, adding just a handful of additional pieces, is really nice. And I really wish that they had included those additional pieces for this. Actually, they could have I think they could have changed out some of the build for the main chassis over here, just swapping pieces for equivalents in different shapes. They could have included everything that was needed for this except for the wheels and tires. And then those could have been just put into a second table or something, you know? So I feel like that's definitely a missed opportunity here. And I feel like a lot of people, and please let me know in the comments if I'm right or wrong about this, about a lot of people being interested in doing stuff like this. I mean, food trucks are hot just in general, at least in the United States. I don't know about in other countries. If you're from another country and you have feedback on that, please do let me know, educate me and other viewers about that. But it just seems like a no-brainer for Lego to do stuff like this. And when they do stuff like this, no matter what the type of food is, from what I've seen, people love them. So I think they should do more. I think this is a really cool idea. I'm glad that they did go ahead and go crazy with it, with the monster truck thing. This is so fun just to see it rock back and forth. And when you actually touch it, you'll understand, you know, if you actually get one of these or have the opportunity to get one in your hands, you'll understand what I mean as soon as you touch it. It's a tactile thing and an action response thing that, you know, just can't really be described effectively, I think. And, you know, as dumb as it is, it's cool. It's fun. Adds enjoyment to the whole thing. All that interior space is great. I'm happy with it being 8 studs wide, even though I'm a 6 stud wide truck person in general, this is just better. Just a better decision for most people, I think. Just overall, this is very nicely done. Those alternate builds, well, the tractor puller thing is cool. That's done pretty well with the sled. You know, that's effective. I think that's a good, like, tertiary build. This, though, meh. You know, it's just a bunch of pieces put together with a windscreen and 4 tires. Maybe a lot of effort went into designing it, for all I know. But it doesn't bring any great joy or interest or spark of, you know, desire to do more of that or anything to me. So I hope that this was a good use of your time, and I definitely feel like it was a better use of my time than building that or buying a total of 3 of these things for $150 just to show you those two. Nah, I like this. This is cool. I like this too. I've done the build, so I didn't record the conversion of this because it only took like 10 minutes, but I did the full standard real-time build of this. You can check that out on my Pure Builds channel. And I also have the speed build version that you can check out on the JANG Builds It channel. Thank you for watching this. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you again soon.